Without further ado, I want to introduce Daria Lukie to talk about 2016, the International Year of the Pulse.
Hello. As you mentioned, I'm Daria Lukie. I'm from Pulse Canada, Winnipeg. I started there this year to help see through a number of the initiatives that are being taken on for increasing demand and consumption about pulses. And in your program, as nice as it is to see, and as how I like it sounds, I'm not a doctor. The only Dr. Lukie I know is my dad, and he's a small town farmer from rural Manitoba. And this isn't a presentation about how to increase demand and consumption of pulses like the last presentation that was inspirational and my action list was completely full and I don't even own a farm. This is really about what we're doing in the industry. And it's an update if you've heard a lot of the initiatives or if you've been involved in them. And it's really just the things that are going to be impacting agriculture and growers over the next couple years and how you can get involved and just so that you're really in the know about what's going on and why it's going on. And it's been really great to work with all the grower groups at a national level and international level to see the development of an international year of pulses and a development of a global pulse brand and a ton of activities happening over the next while and a consumer promotion campaign that's all being launched in the next while. And so I do want to come here saying that I want to stress something that's very important when I'm talking about pulses and I'm focusing on that one crop. And I want to say something that Lee Moat said to me when I started. Pulse Canada's chair of the board, and he said, everything we're doing is not to compete for a piece of the pie. He said, it's to grow a much bigger pie, and ultimately that's going to increase consumption around the world, in Canada, in North America, and hopefully around the world, and then that will lead to increased production, and everything we're doing at the root of all of it, we're Pulse Canada. We're doing it to really increase the business for Canadian farmers, to increase demand domestically, and to increase demand internationally. And we're all doing that, and that's why we come to farmers, and we want you guys to get involved. And you're the leaders of this industry, and you're the backbone of everything that we're doing. So that's the goal, and why we're doing it is the opportunity. Why we're doing it is because, why not? It's the International Year of Pulses. Our industry, the Global Pulse Confederation, our U.S. counterparts have come together to get this declaration, to get pulses more recognizable, and ultimately increase consumption. We're incredibly fortunate to have this International Year of Pulses. It's going to be a great year. It will have a big impact. It's going to be part of this lasting legacy, and so that's the things that I'm talking about, what we're doing to take advantage of this opportunity. Pulses have an international year. All their attributes, their health, nutrition, and sustainability attributes are very well aligned with current consumer interests, as we heard earlier today. And so that's really the opportunity. And so everything that we're doing is communicating that right message in the right way to be able to increase consumption and demand. More people wanting to see pulses in their ingredients, wanting to consume them and add them to their plates and to their diets. So we know that consumers want and need affordable food around the world, no matter where you live. But that nutrition and health message is varied in many places. So when we're doing this, it does have a very tailored message. And so that's what we're working hard to do, is to find that right message for the right audience in the right markets. Because in Canada, our priorities are different than the priorities in India, but they're still priorities. Consumers still want and need different things in different places, but they are still a very well-aligned and positioned for pulses. And so that's what we're showing. On a nutritional perspective, what we're communicating is partnerships. And this table is to show that pulses have a major role to play in the partnerships with other food and ingredients that people are consuming that are traditionally part of their diets. As we saw on the plate earlier today, there was beans sitting there with all of the other partnerships. We know that pulses and cereals, when paired together, they have a very well-balanced, high-quality nutrition output and protein outputs. And so that's what it's really about, the complementarity that excites consumers. Being able to add pulses into your diet for nutritional benefits. Being able to eat what you're already eating and be able to get the nutritional benefits. And so that's a big part of everything. And for a health perspective, in some parts of the world, people have been consuming pulses for hundreds of years and they already know they're good for them. And the Pulse brand and consumer promotions campaign might be more relevant for places, North America, Australia, and Europe, where they haven't heard the word pulses, they're not used to eating them. It's just not part of their regular vocabulary or diet. And they'll need direction of looking when they know that they want to be eating pulses because of what we're telling them. They'll need direction of where do I get them? Why are they important? What nutritional information am I getting? And where are the products that have pulse ingredients? Or what are they? Where can I get them even? What retailers? And so in all, we know consumers need health benefits of pulses, and we can provide them, and it's just about communicating that. We have major health challenges like weight management, CVD, diabetes, and as amazing as it would, I would love to become a doctor to find out why all the chronic diseases most of the diseases are now chronic, but we do know that they are an issue, and we do know that pulses have a role to play, so it's about communicating that. And the next is the sustainability message. Consumers care about sustainability. It's why we continue to work together as an industry to increase productivity and sustainability of our farmers. I left the slide out that has everything about nitrogen fixing and pulses and their role in that sense, but I kind of wish I hadn't because of the previous presentations. And so it's about that partnership again. Pulses can have a major role in sustainability efforts, increasing productivity with reducing our water, reducing our carbon outputs, and being able to do that in a rotation of our other crops that we have, and we're growing together. And so that's really those reasons for health, nutrition, and sustainability, and how the needs and the things that consumers want are very aligned with pulses for this time and what we're doing in our efforts to promote them. So that's why we are saying it's the time for pulses. We've developed a global pulse brand. It's a simple, memorable, and enduring symbol that is designed to identify and connect the pulse industry from farmers. It really points people in the direction of who grows pulses, who trades pulses, who sells them, who has products with pulse ingredients, and where we can find pulses on menus. And as we work on, as an industry, to communicate the pulse message and the benefits and attributes of pulses, we're giving consumers the direction of this is what pulses are and giving them a name, similar to how whole grains and Canada dairy farms did. So we're just helping connect what we're growing to what people want. And so the Pulse brand is very adaptable. That's been a very positive reception that we've been getting from the food industry, from people involved. Because it's a global Pulse brand, people have been putting their own taglines underneath, translating it. With the food industry, it's customizable to have a catered message to a food product or to a brand or a specific company. And so being able to tailor it has been really helpful, and having that customized flexibility in the Pulse brand so that it can represent each and every one of us. And so the Pulse brand is being used for promotional activities around the world right now. It's being used for all the International Year of Pulse events, and it's available for products that have pulses as their sole ingredient, so 100% pulse products. And we're building the program, as many of you have heard and have been interested in, for pulse products that have multiple ingredients. But we're working really hard to ensure that consumers have confidence in the Pulse ingredients and the Pulse product that we're directing them to. So we want to ensure that there's health and nutrition benefits behind it. And so we're going through a two-step process. And the first one was we facilitated an expert panel of expert nutritionists from around the world in Canada, US, Africa, India, Australia, and they established a defined amount of pulses that contributes positively to your health. And so half a cup of pulses provides a varied amount of nutritional benefits for different dietary patterns. Half a cup of pulses provides increased amounts of protein, folate, dietary fiber, the complex fibers. And so as this gets catered to certain markets, in Canada we need fiber. In the US they're very concerned about potassium. In India they need protein and that malnutrition of iron. And so that's where this really catered and having that defined amount. And then on top of it, we're going back to the food industry because initially we wanted this Pulse brand to be on food that just points. You sprinkle pulses on it and you get the Pulse brand. But when we went to the food industry, they said it needs to have value. The Pulse brand needs to direct people to health and nutrition because that's what people care about and that's where your opportunity exists. And so we've gone back to the food industry. We said we have half a cup. We're communicating it to consumers. Half a cup promotes this, this, and this in your diet. What's reasonable for your products? Can you put in 50%? Can you put in 20%? And so that's what we're doing for product categories. And it will be meaningful. And the food companies are excited because they've seen the success that other programs have had. They've seen whole grains, the impact it had on their sales, and they want to see how we're doing. They have Pulse products ready to be launched from their shelves with their own marketing activities, and they're waiting to see what we're doing, and they want to get involved. They're holding our hands through this process to help us because of how impactful this will be. We can have that same impact that dairy farmers had, that whole grains had, that almonds had. And so that's why it's been just a large program to develop that value and context behind the Pulse brand, to be working in a whole about the nutritional benefits and the needs that people have in health. So the Pulse brand is being used. If you want more information, we have an info sheet that we've been giving out. I'm the manager of brand development. I'm the Pulse brand manager. So I'm hired by Pulse Canada, but I'm working for the global industry and making sure that this is a beneficial program for everyone. I encourage you to talk to me about it. It's very exciting. Lots of you have. Lots of people are signed up. And if you do, it comes with the whole slew of the activities that we're getting involved with and the resources of how to use it, why to use it, what's going on with it. But then also that integration with the consumer promotion campaign that we're doing and being able to use those videos and those ads and having access to the most recent health and nutrition research that we're focusing on to create this program for the Pulse brand and to create the information about how pulses address global health issues or healthcare in Canada. So this is this pool of resources that'll be behind it. But the biggest one is the consumer-facing website that we have developed, that it's launched. I encourage you to take a look at it. And the consumer-facing website is what all of our activities will be driving people to. It's the home base for what pulses are, why I should care about them, and how do I eat them or incorporate them into my diet. And this is where we have all the farmer videos because that's what people care about, where their food comes from, the connection of what I'm eating, why it's benefiting me, and where it's grown. And this is where we house all of these are my Pulses videos that were contributed and sent into Pulse Canada and on the farms in Saskatchewan, in the States, in Japan. And people watch these videos and they watch them all because they're adorable, number one. And number two, it really drives that motivation to increase the consumption and that understanding of why it's important for these pulse crops. And getting deeper, it really explains and has these high-level videos of why it's important for nutrition, health, and sustainability. And then, of course, it demonstrates how to incorporate them with the massive recipe database and the food products that have the Pulse brand and Pulse products and restaurants that have pulses in their ingredients. And so how we're doing this all and driving people to this website and to increase consumption is mostly through a consumer promotion campaign. And it's largely focused in North America, but everything we're doing, we're making sure we're supporting other markets. If other people, such as India, are looking to have these crazy promotion campaigns, we've got their back. And so our efforts and everyone that's involved here is a North American consumer campaign. And we're so lucky to be working with all these groups, because to pull off an international year, a global pulse brand, and a consumer promotion campaign, which is something very new for everyone in our industry, you need a lot of partners. You need involvement, you need engagement and excitement, and that's what this industry has really given us, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. I got to swoop in here when all this excitement was happening, and all of these partners were coming together for the first time. The US and Canada are working together. The Global Pulse Confederation is bringing together all these national groups to really see this through. So, some of the things, we're mainly targeting millennials because you can't target everyone, and this is a very influential and large demographic. So we've done a number of consumer research, and they're a very good group to be targeting because they're very tech savvy. They're interested in where their food's grown. They care about sustainability. 80% of millennials say they want to know more about where their food's grown. All of them use social media, and our campaign is mainly going to be online to have that impact. We're going to where the millennials are. We're targeting them at the places that they go, and we're driving that consumer message that will hit home for them and be relevant in their lives. So we're using social media, we're using their websites and having all these international partners, and one of the biggest things, we're having a program of ambassadors and influencers and endorsers or celebrities that are helping us spread the message. And on top of it, we're working together with our US counterparts to create a movement and create a Pulse Pledge, which is a commitment to eat more pulses in 2016 for a number. It's going to be fooling around with a 10-week program. And this is really to how to incorporate. It's that call to action for consumers to get them to do it and to believe in it. And it's been well received. We have all of our influencers that are signed up right now ready to go out with the Pulse Pledge and say how they're committing to eat more pulses and consume more pulses. So some of the ways that that's very interesting to hear, because we don't get to see that back end of promotion campaigns often, is how we get the message out there. What's the tactics behind it? So some of the tactics is a lot of native online content that's going to be everywhere. And so a lot of it seems organic. This was an article written by a certain people, but these are people we're working with. When a millennial goes to a website, there's going to be an article that looks interesting to them that we either made or our partners made for us on these international or these digital landscapes. And they'll see banners that are targeted for what they care about and using those digital profiles of millennials. And if I've gone onto Pinterest, I'm going to see pulses, and so people won't know, but this is all the efforts that we're doing. Before, when we're doing all our analytics, I'd get Google alerts for any time someone mentioned international pulses in an article. And I'd get one a week maybe from our great people like Farming Smarter and Western Producer, and now I get one a day. And a lot of these are people that are organically talking about it, and it's something important to know. But as much as we'd like to think consumers would care about an international year, that's not what they care about. They care about their health and nutrition and the sustainability. So these are the messages that we're giving them. I just got one at 11 a.m. from McLean's Canada, who's posting about the international year, using the messages that we're giving them. And these are the type of people that are being our influencers and ambassadors. And we're using trusted ambassadors from millennials with significant reach, having 500,000 monthly readers to millions of people to drive the Pulse Pledge, to encourage consumption because they care about it. They need to hear our story one time. These are the health benefits, these are sustainability benefits, and these are the nutrition benefits, and they're on side. and they start to tell the message for us. And we're working with them, creating this program, and so that we can have that big impact in the international year. The people that the millennials are looking at on their social media, that they're looking at even when they're eating, these are the people spreading the message, taking the Pulse Pledge, making that splash in 2016 because of our industry's efforts and all those partners that we saw on the slide. And so why will people consume more pulses? We've been successful as an industry in productivity and creating efficiencies, in breeding and sustainability. But this is an area that we can truly make a difference. And this is the opportunity that we're taking. The 2016 International Year of Pulses is an amazing opportunity. Pulses in their position and consumer interests and trends are in amazing position. People are interested in the Pulse brand, in the campaign, and in increasing consumption. And so that's why we're here talking to growers, to hear about all the activities going on. And this is just the consumer promotion campaign. We have the International Year of Pulse activities, which I could have another half an hour just to talk about. And so just to list a few, there's the consumer website, the Mission Impulsible competition, which actually just took place last Monday in Edmonton. And that was the first one for 2016, and they're happening across the country. A traveling exhibit that's going to be featured across Canada throughout 2016 and beyond in universities, museums. We're having a Canadian PR campaign to make sure that Canadian media is picking up on all the activities that we're doing with food security, with transportation, with market access and MRLs, and so we're ensuring that impact is here. And so that's why it is important that we talk to everyone, that the industry is involved and in the know and excited about pulses and excited about the amazing opportunities we have in agriculture over the next couple of years. And so as I wrap up, I encourage you to use the Pulse brand, support the International Year of Pulse activities. We had so many things going on in Canada that we've been planning together that we had to make a separate website because it was too much. So go to the IYP Canada website that was launched last Monday. Check out all the things that are happening in your hometowns that you can go to or get involved with, and take the Pulse Pledge. Eat more pulses. Okay, thank you so much for having me.